Okay, we're going live in 3, 2, we're live.
Welcome to the Brentwood community to this January 21st, 2021 board meeting. I hope that on behalf of the entire board and all the administrators and everybody that's here, that you and your families are well and safe and everybody is healthy. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. I do need a motion to convene general session at 4:36 p.m. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
And just board members, if you can just remember to turn on your mics. Okay. Could I have a motion, Cindy, Trustee Safiri? Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Trustee Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? So moved. Just for the community that's out there, we are going to go into exec now, and the estimated time that we were going to go out back into public is around 6:20. It's what the notice says. We will send out an update if we are running late, as we have done in the past. But as of the notice, it does say 6:20. So at this point, I am going to ask that we have a motion to recess general session and convene into exec session at 4:37 p.m. for the purpose of matters leading to the discipline of a particular person and seeking legal advice from the board's attorney. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Holder Daniel. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Trustee Burgos. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Again, to the community, we hope to see you back around 6:20, and we'll send out a notice for running late. Thank you.
1.
Welcome back to the Brentwood community, and I just have to first open by apologizing for running so late. We are taking care of a lot of business during exec, and sometimes it goes on for longer than expected. So we were supposed to be out at 6:20. We're about a half hour late, but I do apologize. But I do promise that we'll work on it. We're getting the district business done. So I would like to invite everybody to please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic,
And to the republic for which it stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
indivisible,
under
with
God,
liberty and justice.
liberty and justice for all.
So before we move on to the consent agenda, I just wanted to bring up something that it's an acknowledgement that just really couldn't be overlooked. Yesterday was a historic moment, milestone that will never be forgotten. It was Inauguration Day. We lived through a moment that's always going to be referenced in our history books. Yesterday, this country swore in the first woman to ever hold office of Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. It's going to be highlighted forever and ever and ever. I congratulate Kamala Harris and stand with all the women and everyone else who is celebrating the breaking of this particular glass ceiling. It's historic. I believe that it speaks to and is part of the responsibility left to us by this country's founders to continue our efforts to establish a more perfect union, and that the creed that all men are created equal really means all men and all women. The fact that Kamala Harris is a minority is another milestone that I celebrate, yet it might not be so for everyone else. Unfortunately, this issue is a work in progress, but no less important in this country's quest for and promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. It's a big deal. We have a woman who's in the White House as a vice president, and I celebrate with you and everybody else who's out there. So big deal, big deal. We're living through history right now, and as an educational institution, guess what? We're going to talk about it forever and ever and ever. So congratulations.
Very true.
I'm just going to go down to everything else seems boring. Like after that, you know what I'm saying? Like what we're doing right now, we got a woman in the White House. All right. So anyway, we have business to conduct. All right. We're going to go to the consent agenda. Be it resolved that the following items be approved: B1A through B1M. I need a motion.
Motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, first by Trustee Gonzalez Prescott, second by Trustee Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. B2A through B2P. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Safiri. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Burgos. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Abstentions?
I abstain.
So motion 6 in favor, 1 no, and 1 abstention. C1A and C1B. I need a motion.
Motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Felix with the motion, Trustee Gonzalez Prescott with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. We're now on to D items. Items for action: D1A, appointments, resignations, and leaves of certificated personnel as proposed on the agenda. Could I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Burgos. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Holder Daniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. We're on D1B, appointments, resignations, and leaves of non-certificated personnel as proposed on the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Felix. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Safiri. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. D1C, assistant principal, Northeast Elementary School, as proposed on the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Gonzalez Prescott. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Second by trustee Burgos. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. D1D, assistant principal, Oak Park Elementary School, as proposed on the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Holder Daniel. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Felix. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? So moved. D1E, special education department head, high school. Could I have a motion as proposed on the agenda? Could I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Safiri. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. D1G, administrative table of organizations, assistant to the director of special services, elementary / department head for speech and
Robert,
hearing
excuse me.
as proposed on the agenda.
Robert, I think we
Robert.
D1F.
Yes.
D1F.
Oh, D1F. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. D1F, acting principal, East Middle School, as proposed on the agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Trustee Moore with the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Trustee Gonzalez Prescott with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, trustee Burgos, for making that point. Now we're on D1G. D1G, administrative table of organization, assistant to the director of special services, elementary / department head for speech and hearing as proposed on the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
Robert, can we
Motion.
just have some
Motion.
discussion before we?
Yes, we will have the discussion after we make the motion.
Okay.
Trustee Gonzalez Prescott with the motion. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Trustee Felix with the second. Trustee Burgos would like to have discussion.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point out that, we are combining these two departments and, making these changes, and that we are being very cognizant of the fact that we may have to make additional changes as time goes on, because it is a large task that we're, asking our, this particular administrator to take on. So I just wanted to make that very clear that, this is something that may need additional changes as we go on. It may
Support.
not, but
Support.
either
Yeah,
for support or,
Lawson did bring that up in our, when, in our discussion.
right, no, he did, but I
Also
just thought,
aware of
it would be a good idea to just say it in public as well.
Yeah.
Publicly, right.
There
And
will be more
but
support.
we
Yep.
do appreciate, the person who, the name is here, Dr. Romaine, just taking on this position, combined position, because it is a huge undertaking, and we really thank him for that.
Thank you, Joe.
So we have a first and we have a second. All in favor, please?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. You know what? And to the point that trustee Burgos just made, congratulations to Dr. Romaine, and thank you on behalf of the board for taking this on. Very good point, Julie. E1A, student enrollment figures as presented on our agenda. F110 is miscellaneous items for information only. And now we are on G1A, old and new business. Solutioner, there were a couple of things that you wanted to speak about and, had presented. The COVID testing site, I believe that there was a something to be said about that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Feliciano. One of the things that I'm excited to tell the community this evening is that we are moving ahead with becoming a COVID testing site. I think the community remembers I sent out a letter prior to the holiday vacation that was a possibility. I've been working with the counties, Steve Ballone's office, as well as East and Suffolk BOCES to kind of put this together. We hope to have the finalized plan together, as well as lots of other things that happen in the background, all put together by the end of next week. So I'm thinking that 2 Mondays from now, not this Monday, but the following Monday, we would begin testing our students and staff members over a 2-week period. We will be required to test 20% of our students and staff over that 2-week period. They want you to stick to that timetable. We can't rush it and be done, completed in a week. They want it over a 2-week period. It's approximately, we don't have the final number yet because it actually has to do with your attendance. And it's probably anywhere from 2,600 to 3,000 students that will have students and staff members that need to be tested. It is asymptomatic. So it's the kids or staff members who are in school and asymptomatic obviously will have the opportunity to take the test. It's a very non-invasive test. It takes 5 minutes for the test and then about 15 minutes to wait until the results come out. And at that point, a student or staff member will know whether they're positive or negative. I'm going very quickly through this. We do have a whole plan set up where it will be very well organized, where a student or staff member will go to a certain site, will fill out some paperwork for us, hopefully sit for just a few minutes, have the test, wait for another 15 minutes for a result. And if it's negative, which we hope it will be, obviously, then that student or staff member will return to their class or whatever, was taking place at that time. So it's, you'll have to wait for further direction from me. I will send something out probably early next week. We are going to do that survey again. I did a survey prior to the holiday vacation. We did have a great response. So I'll probably stick to the well, but I'll send out an additional survey because now it will be about a month old, and I don't want to hold people to a decision that they made prior to the holiday vacation. They may think differently now. Again, it's completely up to the parent or guardian if you want your child to be tested. And I'll also send something out to the staff members asking them if they'd like to have the opportunity to be tested on site. It is no cost, obviously, to the students or parents, and it's no cost to the staff member.
Thank you so much, Mr. Loshino. That's great. Is this going to be something that is going to be a strict percentage of all students and staff, or is it going to be voluntary?
That's a great question. It's actually all voluntary, and there's really no set percentage. It doesn't have to be 50% students or 75% students and 25% staff. There's really no percentage. We just are obligated to hit that number. And I'm hoping we don't have an issue with that. But like I said, it's about 2,600, students and staff members. I'm hoping we don't have a problem hitting that number. Most of the time, school districts do not have an issue getting to that 20%. It should be a welcome opportunity because, like I said, it's a non-invasive test. It's, in 20 minutes, you're in, you're out, and you have results. And I think it's, a great opportunity for our community to know what's, happening within the school and their kids. I'm sure there's lots of parents would love to have their child tested just to have that comfort of knowing. And there's a lot of staff members who would, I think, welcome the opportunity to just maybe go down to their school's gymnasium and have a test and be back in the classroom pretty quickly. So
And this would, this
win-win.
would also get us in alignment just in case we were declared a yellow zone. And this would certainly be the prep, right, for that?
Exactly. Yeah, that's another great point. I don't think I brought that out, that we are not in the yellow zone. This is just preemptive. You just work with the county to say, hey, this is something that our district would like to do. And they were obviously, excited to oblige. It's obviously the largest school district in Suffolk County and Nassau County, and they'll welcome the results. So yeah, it's I think it's a great opportunity, but it is preemptive. We are not in the yellow zone.
Thank you, Ms. Lochner. Ms. Lochner, there was, I guess, and between you and Ms. O'Connor, I don't know if you can just give a quick budget update in terms of where we are. I know that the budget, that the governor released his budget yesterday. I know it's way too early. There aren't going to be any questions that I can ask of you at all. I know that you're still trying to decipher the information, but just if you had anything to present to the community between you and Ms. O'Connor, if that would be possible.
Yeah, sure. I'll start and then I'll hand it off to Ms. O'Connor. But yeah, we did receive the numbers late last night. Or I'm sorry, it's actually 2 days ago now. Or was it last night? I'm so many things come across the desk here. But we just received it very early in the process. It is a little bit more confusing because they are combining certain line items that they didn't in years past. Okay. So that's a little bit, confusing for us. We kind of have to unpack that. We also have the stimulus, or I'm sorry, the CARES Act that was passed, and we that money is still, on the, in the budget from last year, and also we have to anticipate what we potentially may get, as the federal government sends states money. We kind of have to unpack that as well. We hope that the governor's numbers, very frequently, we hope that number rises in terms of what the school districts get. And if it does, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. I think we've done a remarkable job as a district navigating the very difficult budget that we had to pass last year. I think we've done a remarkable job, everyone working together to ensure that we remain healthy financially as a school district. I'm confident that we're going to remain healthy as we move forward, but we always have to be wary because we are in very troubled times where the governor presented a budget, but he presented a budget to us last year at this time every January, and he guaranteed us $9.5 million in additional state aid, and obviously the virus hit and that was wiped completely out. So that is still a fear that both Stacy and I know the Board of Education have as we navigate the next few months. I think the New York State is anxiously awaiting what the federal government will do in terms of the stimulus funds. So we'll see where we fall. Stace, you want to add anything to that?
Just that, as Mr. Lochner said, there's still a lot to take in and kind of try to understand with this budget because there are so many changes. We do have budget meetings the next 2 weeks. So as more details come out, we'll certainly share them with everybody.
Thank you. Thank you both. And to the point that Ms. O'Connor just mentioned, the board is meeting, I think, for 2 weeks in a row on budget workshops, and we hope to have more clarity. And as that clarity comes to us, we'll, provide the community more information. Mr. Lochner, before we get to any questions, anything else that you want to add? Anything else that you may have notes on? Because I was just going to jump to the questions from the community.
Well, it's been my custom to actually update the community in terms of the laptops, where now we've topped out over 12,000 laptops. We are still pushing them out to the buildings as quickly as we can image them and distribute them. So I want to once again thank first of all, the IT department has done a tremendous job. But I also want to thank the parents and the students who have been really extremely patient as they wait for their laptop since the beginning of the school year. We want to thank you for that. We actually do have enough laptops in district to distribute to kids. So really now it's a matter of our IT department imaging the laptops and pushing them out to the buildings, and then the buildings distributing them to kids. I would ask families, obviously, if you make an appointment with your building administration, you please, honor that appointment so we can give that laptop out in a timely fashion. But no, we're really, excited about that. We're thrilled that, we're going to fulfill a promise. We are sorry that it took so long, but there were lots of reasons behind that. Also, we want to, keeping up with the technology, we're purchasing Aquas boards, because if the one thing that this pandemic has, shown a light on, and that's obviously the technology that districts are in need of. So we're adding Aquas boards to as many classrooms as we can, as quickly as we can, so we can get everybody up to the 21st century. But again, I want to thank teachers who have been patiently waiting to have their technology upgraded in the classrooms, as well as the kids who are also dealing with those issues. But we're moving in the right direction, and I'm thrilled with where we are now compared to where we were about 9 months ago.
So, listener, just to be clear, when you're saying that we have enough laptops in the district, we're talking about a one-on-one. So
Yes.
one laptop per child.
Correct.
Is that clear? Is that right?
That's absolutely right. It's one laptop per child. We've taken delivery, from a large, took a delivery of a large number of laptops prior to the holiday vacation. We're actually still getting deliveries in, but really it takes, I don't know if I've mentioned this publicly at all, but it's very much different than if you buy a laptop at Best Buy or Costco or something like that. You take it out of the box, you plug it in, and away you go. Educational laptops are not the same thing. IT department has to download specific software that we own, as well as security software and all kinds of other protections in there. So it really does take quite some time to image a laptop before we can send it out to a family. So that's why we're just not buying them and handing them out.
Can we also clarify, I'm sorry, for the teachers that, it doesn't mean we are going to have an Aquas board for every single classroom, but that hopefully every single classroom would have some updated technology?
Yes, I mean, every classroom, as I mentioned in exec session, does have a camera and a microphone. Some have multiple, but so they all do have the ability to teach synchronously, and I think our teachers are doing a tremendous job that way. However, there are some obviously that are lagging behind in other areas. I mean, there are technologies that have really helped teachers connect and stay connected to kids, and that's the Aquas board. Is obviously the interactive board is the number one on our list, but we have an Elmo board out there. We have overhead projectors. Teachers are being incredibly creative as they wait for technology to be updated. But yeah, right now, I'm not making a guarantee that we're going to have an Aquas board in every classroom. That's obviously a long-term goal, but we are, trying to get to that point.
Mr. Listener, as part of, this conversation, I know that we spoke about doing a real assessment as to where we are in the district when it comes to Aquas boards. I think that we did have a member of the board who described the Aquas boards as the gold standard for, being able to teach in this environment. And that is what we're, looking to do, to now transition, ourselves to kind of like plug in the holes for the teaching staff. And as soon as we get the information from your cabinet and, your administration, we'll be able to better assess where we are. And then we just, try to move that forward. So we're trying, we have these conversations, and again, I just want to echo the fact that, that this has always been fluid, and, thank you to everyone who's been incredibly cooperative and patient along the way. So, Lucian, anything else that you'd like to add?
Oh my gosh, you know what? There's just so many things happening. Obviously, I sent a letter out to the community this evening. One of the things I always make a pitch for at these meetings is to talk to parents and students. Please ensure that your kids are staying engaged. That's one of the concerns that we all have. Obviously, this is a different type of educational environment. A lot of the responsibilities obviously falls on students and parents as the kids stay home. If they're the fully remote kids, or obviously they have a schedule that should be conformed to every single day. They have those responsibilities. If you're a hybrid student, it's also critical that you come into school on your day. If you're a green student, you come in on green day, and when you're home on gold day, please make sure that you log in, because the lessons are continuous. And so that's my pitch to the kids and the community members, to make sure that we stay connected, as much as possible, because this is a different environment that we're in, and there is a lot of responsibility now shifted to the students, because they're not in school every single day. So that's my pitch I always make, and I'd like to continue with that. So that's
Okay. Thank you.
that's it. Am I forgetting something? I know we spoke about so many things in
No,
executive.
no, I think, you know what, Mr. Loshina, and I'm just gonna jump in and just,
You need
pick
to
up where
prompt
you
me a
left
little
off.
bit.
Yeah, no, I just, I know that we are counting more than ever on parents to engage their kids, as true partners in education, as partners with the teacher. But sometimes we're a little concerned about the over enthusiasm that there
I'm sorry.
exists
I see.
for parents who are engaging students while they're in class. As a parent and as an uncle, and I am concerned how it is that my family members, my neighbors, community is engaging on these educational platforms. But I also understand that it's for them to do, and you've got to let the teacher teach, and sometimes that's incredibly hard, because the platform is public, and it might be in a space where a parent or a guardian may overhear what's going on, and you really have to have the discipline to allow for that teacher to do his or her job. Mr. Loshina, if you wanted to just pick up
No,
there.
that was great, and that's what I knew I was forgetting something, and that was actually that was terrific, Mr. Feliciano, because I couldn't have said it better. Really, that's really it. Great reminder for all of us. We're all learning in this new environment, and obviously, one of the things that's happening is, kids they're having class sitting in the living room or at the dining room table. And they have obviously mom or dad or grandparents, they might be sitting next to them or in the next room, and these are the issues that obviously every school district across the country are dealing with. These are new learning environments and teaching environments, and what you said is absolutely appropriate, that if there is a parent who hears something and they have a concern, there is a proper way to do it. We do ask if you can be circumspect and not, obviously jump into the class. And, if you need to contact a teacher, please do so. If you could do it privately through an email or a phone call, I think that's the best way to handle it. But what you said is also true, that there is a whole classroom that's going on. There's lots of, exchanges between students and teachers, and we always want to be considerate of the other students in the classroom, because remember, kids are asking questions and they're being asked questions, and so there's a lot happening, a lot of dynamics that are taking place in a classroom, and sometimes parents may hear something, it might be out of context. So we ask that if there is an issue, that you obviously don't respond on camera. Please call a teacher and and express any concerns. But we also ask that you really can't, you should not be taking video. That is a no-no. Obviously, we don't want people videotaping or taking pictures of a class that is taking place through very much like this, because we do have some privacy issues that we're concerned about. So if people are videotaping, I'm hoping that that's not taking place, but I think it's a good forum right now to have that discussion. No one should be videotaping. because there are privacy issues. There are other students in the classrooms, and that could raise a whole host of problems if that's occurring. So we ask parents or grandparents or whomever really to refrain from doing that. The same with a still picture, that shouldn't be taking place. This again is a new environment. We're all learning and adjusting to it. So we all have to be respectful of each other's space and job functions at that point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lochner. So I'm gonna go to the questions from the community, and I'd really like to I'd like to go to the last 3 questions that we got. So the last 3 questions, I'm going to try to summarize, and that is, can we reinstate math and reading consultants? Can we consider hiring additional TAs and to provide additional support for our students who are lagging behind? And really 4 really does summarize, the reason why this is being asked, and that is, how we can justify and explain the fairness to our children who are trying their best to learn. And one teacher is teaching 2 groups of students. Is it possible? Yes. Is it valuable learning? It says no. Her opinion says no, or his or her opinion says no. How do you believe we can make this better for the school year, where there will be more added material? So those conversations, I can tell you that we're having right now between the board and the superintendent and central administration. It's part of the conversation right now. We were expecting, we were waiting for numbers to come back from the state. So this is going to be answered hopefully within the next couple of weeks, because we are waiting to get more information on the budget and how to implement some of these strategies. So it's going to be twofold. It's going to be information from Central, and it's going to be information about the budget that comes from also Central over at Ms. O'Connor's office. So I want to say that this is a question that is on the table and will remain on the table on how we move forward, but certainly not it's not a no. It's how do we do it, and how do we use the resources that we have. Is that fair enough, Mr. Lochner?
Yeah, no, that's actually accurate. I mean, we have had discussions about, the potential to bring back, certain, people being very careful how to choose it. We can't obviously, make wholesale changes at this point, because we are still, very much concerned about, as I mentioned earlier, the budget and what that, could potentially be as we move forward. But yeah, we're serious about taking a look at, the possibility, because we are concerned about students who are falling behind. As a matter of fact, the cabinet member, along with administration right now, is currently putting together data that we've accumulated now from our own exams that we give internally to take a look at students who are lagging behind. And I've been in discussion with the board today, as a matter of fact, on how to address the needs of students who are lagging behind. And it may be, adding, certain staff members here or there. I do want to address the issue about TAs. We have a TA posting almost continuously. So there's lots of vacant TAs out that still need to be filled. So, that was one of the questions really, has to do with TAs. Please, if you know a TA out there or someone who would like to be a TA, we certainly, encourage all applicants to apply, because, we do need more TAs to give, assistance in the classes. They are extremely valuable to this organization. We're blessed with terrific TAs and monitors. So the more we can bring in actually, the question kind of identifies our need. We would use TAs to give classroom teachers assistance. Also, to address some of the issues that were brought up with these questions, it is a difficult, I'm not going to say it hasn't been difficult to teach 2 groups of kids simultaneously. we have our hybrid kids who are in person. Sometimes it's up to half the class. And we'll have half the class online. Very, very difficult to learn, and it's very difficult to teach. I think we've made tremendous strides as students and also as teachers, but it's a constant, growth. And I know it's not perfect. The perfect educational system, I think this proves it, is being in person every single day, where you have that continuity of instruction, you have that relationship building. But I think our teachers have really come miles and miles ahead of where they were just a few short months ago. I think they're doing tremendous in the classroom. But that's why I always ask parents, and in my letters and now my pleas to the parents, please keep your kids engaged as much as possible. Always check to make sure that they're doing their work. Give them assistance if you can, and if they need help, setting up a study, pattern, please help with that. Because I think we are all in this together. We have to remain together as a school community to get our kids through till June. I will tell you, if I can make a specific plea to seniors and senior parents, this is obviously this is an extremely important year. It's the year for them to graduate. And I would ask parents to go over, even though the kids are older, they still need that direction and guidance. We have some students who are struggling in some of their classes, and we need them, we want them, obviously, to be successful and graduate in June. So please, parents, if you can have a conversation, especially senior parents, if your son or daughter has failed a class or is not doing well, call the school, see what can be done, how we can partner to make sure your son or daughter passes a class so they can graduate. That's our critical, we're at a critical point of the year. We need to stay together, particular seniors, so they all pass their classes and they graduate, they walk across that stage in June, because that's critical. We're very much concerned about that, as every kid, but I did want to make a plea to seniors.
Mr. Lochner, so, I just listening to you, I also, it's not even in defense of this district, it is the reality of what it is that we're living in. Everything that we're talking about is not unique to Brentwood. This is every school district, I want to say, right across the country. It was a huge learning curve for students, for families, and for teachers. So if there is some lag, it's not because it was done purposefully. It is the circumstance of the situation that we're living in, and and I want to say that I believe that we have come a long way, and since September to the break, I believe that teachers, along with students and families, have made great strides forward. So I applaud all of them for their efforts.
Yeah.
I also want to point out something else that I think you and I had a conversation about, and that is, had the groundwork not been laid in this district with the smart schools bond work that we did a couple of years ago, some of the stuff that we're talking about would have been impossible to do. Providing Wi-Fi to 18,000 plus the staff would have been literally. I just think that it would have been impossible to do. It's something that you couldn't physically do based on the network that we had. So we have laid some really good seed. We fertilized it. And it's coming all to fruition. To Mr. Lochner's point, we had a long-term plan in terms of bringing electronics and devices back into the district. Everything was put on fast forward, but we are keeping up. We are keeping up with the best possible outcomes, but the lagging behind of student performance is not just in Brentwood. Mr. Lochner, I mean, I don't know, you've had multiple conversations, I'm sure, with other district leadership. Is there anything that you could add to that?
Yeah, it's it's a concern. It really is, because you know, I don't want to see any student fall through the cracks. I really don't. It breaks my heart to think that there are kids who are struggling through this, and it's very difficult. I mean, you know, let's be honest. It's even bigger than just education. We have kids who are struggling, you know, with depression, anxiety, a sense of isolation. It's, again, not unique to Brentwood, but we're talking about our Brentwood kids here, and we have a real concern about that. And I don't want them to remain silent. The worst thing that they can do is remain silent. Same with parents out there. If your son or daughter is feeling isolated or depressed, or is really suffering from anxiety that is unfamiliar to you, please give us a call so we can offer some assistance. And you know, then there's just you know, there is this whole thing where I keep talking about personal responsibility. You know, one of the things we pride ourselves on as educators is motivating kids. That's really, you know, when you have a student in front of you, a class, you know, full of kids, to motivate them and get them energized to learn is one of the highlights of an educator's day. But now we have kids who are home, and they're still doing a remarkable job energizing them, but it is now a lot of personal responsibility. That student who might be a junior or a sophomore or a senior in high school, they still have to log on and make a connection with the class, and we don't want to lose any of them. So we need to work together, parents, guardians, aunts, uncles, you know, check in on your kids to make sure that they are logging in every day and connecting with their teachers, so we can, you know, we can move forward. And when we start in September, we can pick up where we left off.
Thank you, Ms. Lochner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to also say that some of the positions that we're looking to possibly reinstate, we're looking to do with monies that were not cut, that we weren't sure in September, right? That we were going to have, how much we were going to have. So some of it may be dependent on what we're going to receive for the coming year so that we don't fall short. But we were not cut, thankfully, the amounts of money that we thought we were going to be cut from the end of September to December. So we're able to reinstate some of the positions.
Right.
Any
Absolutely. Thank
questions
you.
for board members?
Mr. Lochner, I had a question in regards to the laptops. Are we able to at least prioritize our seniors so that they all have the laptops available so that they could at least engage in our classes, and we could be able to make sure that, you know, hopefully that they graduate by June?
Yes, and I think that the high school has prioritized the seniors. I know they look at them quite closely and follow their success very closely. I will check. I don't want to say that they all have a laptop, you know, but I will look into that tomorrow to make sure that that is a priority, because I think that's, you know, a great idea. I really do. You know, that's one of the components of helping them be successful. So I'll make sure the seniors do have those laptops.
And I know you spoke about the isolation. I mean, I fortunately, my children had to isolate for a couple of weeks, and, you know, and the mental health, and they really want to go to school, you know, and it basically is, it's a two-way street between you and the teacher, you know, and it's nice to hear that sometimes, you know, the teacher texts you or send you a message on the parent app just to say, hey, we missed her, you know, and it's nice to hear, because if you tell that to the child, it's like, okay, they miss you in school, you need to go to school, you know, and you know, it's nice to see. So
That is, and I'm so glad to hear that teachers are doing that. I know they are, and that's actually from the heart. They do miss kids when they're not in front of them. You know, schools are meant to be filled with kids, so it's kind of disconcerting to walk into schools that are half empty, or classrooms that do not have all of the desks filled at once. So when they say they miss the kids, it's sincere. They miss the kids. You know, and we are looking, you know, I also want the community to know that I had a long discussion with the board prior to this. I mean, we are looking to bring, you know, certain kids back, populations of kids, but it's not easy because we are an extremely large school district. And, you know, you still want to bring back kids in a safe environment. That is, you need to keep them socially distant. That has not been relaxed, even with the vaccinations that have been given already. The governor and the Department of Health have not said, okay, let's go from 6 feet down to 3 feet. That has not changed. It's still 6 feet. You must maintain while you're in class. You still have to wear your masks. You still have to social distance. You have to still keep a window cracked in the classroom and the door open in order to get the cross ventilation. So there's still lots of requirements. I know this Board of Education would love to, you know, snap their fingers and bring everybody back, but we're constrained by, you know, certain requirements, and also we always want to err on the side of safety. We can't bring everybody back just yet because our schools would be just too crowded, and the potential for a spread or an outbreak, I think, would be, you know, the percentage would go up dramatically.
Any other questions from board members?
I have something, two things, Rich. When those new devices for the teachers are, can they be prioritized as far as what areas get those devices? And second,
Ms. Trustee Moore, we couldn't hear you.
Mr. Losi, can you just elaborate a little bit on the sports activities that are being held now? Because Ms. Safiri was kind enough to put something on social media.
All right.
I want to just give my heart good to see that there are some activities going on as far as athletics are concerned.
No, thank you. You know what? Again, thank you. You know, and please, board members, jump in and remind me. There's just so many things, you know, to remember, and I appreciate that so much. Yeah, we have currently running right now. We have swimming, we have boys and girls outdoor track, and we have fencing. And it is really exciting to go and see the kids participate, practice. It's obviously a reduced season. It's only 8 weeks long. It's a reduced schedule. For instance, the track team, they obviously practice outdoors. It's extremely safe. And our coaches are just two terrific people, husband and wife team that have been doing it for many years, and they're fabulous. It was wonderful to see the kids. Our fencing team is, you know, back up in force. And our swim team, you know what? We have a nice, solid swim team, but anybody who's interested, please come on out because it's a great sport. But yeah, we have they are our winter sports running currently. We go into our fall sports. I just spoke to the athletic director, the interim athletic director, who had a meeting today. Girls and boys soccer, that's the next season is fall. So that's the fall season. Girls and boys soccer will be taking place. The outdoor cross country obviously is taking place. Football, which is obviously still, you know, a concern, that is still up in the air. The Section 11 has not made, nor has New York State made a decision yet on football. Then the spring sports, that occurs after that. All of the sports, I believe, are taking place. We haven't heard anything to that effect, whether any have been delayed. I should say, too, obviously, you know, wrestling, there was a possibility that wrestling and basketball still would take place this year at some point in the year. That's still a possibility. However, I think it's getting more and more remote, to be quite honest with you. But I know that the State Athletic Association is still looking at the potential to have those seasons occur.
Don't throw it under the bus yet.
I am not. No.
All right, I have hope.
I have hope too. I really do. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just passing along the information.
Anybody, I said the sport. My basketball and wrestling need to come back.
Listen, there is it's breaking my heart not to see you know, those kids you know, practice and play, because obviously, you know, those are two of our premier sports, and we just love them to death here in Brentwood. I would love to see them take place later in the school year, so it's still a possibility.
Ms. Moore, we're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. I couldn't hear you before. I don't know if maybe you're just too far away from the computer.
No, I'm,
Okay.
Is the YES program offering tutoring services for all middle schoolers?
Yes, it is. They are offering it remotely and in person.
So they
Yeah,
would have to
if
contact
you have
their.
someone, yeah, they should I want to say the building principal, so they could give them the times and the contact person.
Who can parents contact in regards to the UPK program? And if there's a split session and what the hours of those sessions are?
Okay, they should call the funded program office, but to be more specific, let me be more specific. They could call either one of the assistant superintendents, Miss Palmer or Miss Ortiz, and they'll answer you right away as to how to navigate that as a parent.
Can
And
you
we
say
will
what the-
have, obviously, we will have kindergarten and UPK registration for next year. That will be occurring in the near future.
And that'll be on the district website?
Be on the district website. Really, this is another thing that, is happening here in Brentwood. We're putting lots of our applications online, which should make it convenient for parents so they can, sign their child up and have questions answered all online.
How are they
However,
gonna
you
show
still-
their documents though? How are we gonna see their documents?
they actually scan them in or
Okay.
send pictures of them. But again, they're still, I was going to say that it's still a very comfortable for many people to come in person. We'll have in-person registration. They'll just be through appointments.
Any other questions from board members?
Nope.
Okay, so we have, last question is kind of echoes a question that we had last week or one of our last meetings about, the board meetings being virtual versus in person. I do believe that Mr. Loshner did answer that, he did do a survey of the 11 surrounding school districts and that only 2 were actually doing them in person. And I guess the question continues on, why wouldn't we, have them in person at the admin building, socially distant with masks, and then live stream? And I guess because the comparison is to, students being in the classroom, and it being safe for them versus, what it is that we're doing. Students and families are given the opportunity to pick between hybrid and remote. Ideally, education, I would echo what Ms. Loshner said, is best in person, and the remote has its deficits. But I personally don't feel that this platform, in terms of what it is that we're doing at a meeting for the Board of Education, has really any deficits. We've been able to accomplish a lot, and I think that it is a good way to keep us all safe. And it's, and I think that we're going to be out of this soon. The fact is, I think that, probably come the late spring, I think that, things may turn around, and this is something that I believe that, we could continue to do in order to maintain the fight against this virus. So I see this as something coming to an end pretty soon myself. And then I guess the other part is about the questions in the live stream. Can we do that? I find this platform, in terms of sending the questions to the district clerk, so much better, because we're able to get some of these questions in advance and have answers for you versus not being able to answer some of these questions. So I personally prefer getting these questions in advance, and everybody looks at them. Mr. Loshner gets to take a look at these questions and prep for anything that he might have to address. So that's the way I would answer it. You have any comments from board members? Anybody else?
I
Anything?
think there are some times though when parents may have something that we're discussing that they have a question about, that the live stream would be helpful, that they could ask something at the moment.
Yeah, and you know what? And I would just say that, in that case, feel free to send those questions to the district clerk, right? So that we can answer them at next week's, board meeting. I mean, we're going to have 3 weeks of meetings in a row, today, next week, and then the following week. There isn't any reason why we couldn't get to those things. At that
No, but I
point.
understand what they're saying is how could you, that we're sending their kids to school and we don't show, I mean, I'm willing to show up.
Well, I mean,
You know,
kids are given,
that's the point, which
Yeah,
I understand that. I totally get it.
families are given the option to go hybrid or fully remote.
Exactly.
So they are given that option, and I think that it's an option that we should also, apply for ourselves.
Well, that's, I'm just letting them know that I'm willing to go
Sure.
in public,
Absolutely.
you know,
it's
with a
so, and
mask.
it's also so nice
6
to
feet
see
apart.
that. It's also so nice to see that more community members are actually tuning in, even now live or later when they can. I mean, even in the future, when we go back to live meetings, maybe we can continue, we should continue to record and have them available on YouTube if that's possible.
Right. But
I
yeah,
think we did discuss that once and we said that that's what we were going to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we are.
Yeah, we did.
yeah, they're two
Any other
separate
questions or
questions, whether
comments?
No, just, Robert, I just wanted to I guess, clarify. We're talking about two different things, right? One is whether we can meet in person as a group. But that doesn't solve the issue of the, being able to answer questions. I think that's more like an equity issue. If the students are in, we can be in. I don't know that it will be that much different. But I think the question about, live streaming is, carries a little more weight in terms of parents being able to have a voice and a more, voice at the moment while things are being discussed, that they can actually stream in their questions. So maybe it's something we can talk about for the future.
Anyone else?
Nope.
All right. So listen, I want to thank everybody for all of their time and all their effort. Ms. Lochner, board members, Ms. O'Connor, District Clerk Hoey, thank you so much. And of course, council. We wish, on behalf of the board and central administration, we wish that everybody continue to be healthy, to be safe, and to echo what Mr. Lochner said. We are all in this together. We can't be successful if we don't, cooperate, maintain our patience, and move forward as a group in unity. And that seems to be, the theme of the year, unity. We have our differences. We have differences of opinion, on this board, and we go rounds, and hopefully we laugh about it afterwards, But the idea is that I think that we're all well-intentioned. I think that there's certainly, I haven't seen anything that would indicate that there's, an ulterior motive for any of the things and any of the actions that we take. And that's a big deal because that wasn't always the case. So to everybody, thank you. Thank you so much. And have a good night. Could I have an motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Felix. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by trustee Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Have a great
Good
weekend.
night, be well.
Thank you. Good
Take
night
care.
now. Good night now.